making this kind of a curtain raiser on this subject and giving it.
I just had one question. After the excellent speech of all the speakers talking so vividly about the India-China relationship, the problems, the futurology of what's going to be, I had only one question, which is China is wanting to set some goals by 2049. In the context of that, would they be permanently aggressive towards all other nations, be it in Asia or elsewhere in the world? How will the world tackle this? All this will depend, obviously, the trade that we do with them or whatever association. And will they put a stop to creating country on the West, Pakistan? Thank you, sir.
I think there are two things which the Chinese have done meticulously. One is to map the future. 2025, they expect to break through many of their R&D in terms of strategic technologies. 2035, one decade later, they expect to establish certain leads in special areas of S&T there. 2049, they expect to eclipse the United States as a dominant superpower in the world actually. If you look into, I think one of the classic works of Graham T. Allison is what is called the Thucydides trap, which is about the Peloponnesian War that went between Athens and Sparta. There are three views of China. Let me put it very briefly. Even as China is growing, even as China is actually asserting itself, China is also being socialized into the international system there. Because what the Chinese have done till today, after the Korean War and the second Sino-Vietnamese War, they've not gone for a war with any other country. And one of the wars that they went was with India. And of course, we always think that India basically faced defeat. No. The Chinese learned valuable lessons from that 1962 war, which we carried as a debacle there. So the Chinese effectively will not go into a war because war is not in their interest actually. Sun Tzu basically says that the acme of fighting is not in winning you're not winning 1,000 battles or 100 wars, but the acme of fighting is to neutralize the enemy without firing a single shot. So there is a lot of diplomatic acumen the Chinese are putting into it. And that is where they are kind of calibrating the comprehensive national power and they are calibrating the grand strategy into how they would like to pacify. That is why the tributary system is something that the Chinese are working towards, what I call the China century. 2050 will be Pax Seneca. That is what they are looking into it, without fighting actually. Pakistan for them is actually a dispensable commodity. I'm very sorry to say that actually. You see, if you talk to Pakistanis, especially I have this experience having been part of the National Defense University in Washington DC. Many of the Pakistani scholars who used to come and interact with us, they always felt much better with India than the Chinese, because the Chinese are highly condescending in the way they are actually. And therefore we find that this particular aspect of China to be a great power will not come as a result of aggressiveness. They will not go for a war. That is the first view. The second view what the Chinese are likely to do into it is that the Chinese will go in for accommodation actually. And particularly with India, this is something that with India they would like to settle the dispute once and for all actually. But when when Chairman Deng Xiaoping said that to Prime Minister Retd, he said, let us postpone the border dispute to a future date. That future date has arrived now actually. The future date has arrived primarily because the global Asia-Pacific and the Indo-Pacific region are not as conducive to the Chinese as it has been after 9/11 actually. Today we find the resurgent in the United States, thanks to Donald Trump for whatever eccentricities that people look into it, he is very clear on one particular objective. So therefore that is actually putting a lot of pressure on China towards accommodation. Thirdly, interestingly, the largest trilateral after US, Japan, and India and Russia, India and China is the Korea, Japan, China trilateral. This is where the Chinese are trying to, fall back on what is called the Han, Pan-Han culture, into which they would like to see a more accommodation on the other side. But China will not be, will like to go back to the dynastic era of what is called as one mandate under heaven, where they would like to be accepted by everybody. And then they would like to have a modified tributary system, into which India will be considered to be a large country. They always use the word large country, large power actually, Chinese language basically. That is the level to which they are looking into. I don't think they'll go for a war, because if they go for a war, the United States will munch China, even in the first level. Why United States? You will find that the Japanese self-defense forces are more potent than the KVA. And I think Vasan will agree to me. There's something called Warm Creek, which Otto von Clausewitz says. There is a fog of war. Until the first kinetic contact comes into it, no matter how great power is, if you have an untested arsenal, that power will be all the more astute not to go for a war. So this is my 2 cents of my opinion. Thank you.
This is on the relative strength of Indian Navy vis-a-vis the PLA Navy. This we must understand. It's not mere numbers that matter. They may have a navy which is 5 times or 6 times more than us. What is the size and shape of the navy is one aspect of it. The most important for us, it's come out very clearly that we are central to India Pacific. We're in the center of Indian Ocean with access to Bay of Bengal and Arabian Sea, and more importantly, Port Blair, Andaman Nicobar, Tri-Services Command is our forward post which will monitor every activity that the Chinese would like to undertake. Have no doubts about it. This is something that has upset them. They are spending a lot of time and energy on trying to see how to neutralize this advantage of distance, that we enjoy. So we analysts call this, Professor Lawrence will agree with me, is the tyranny of distance. It's a tyranny of distance for China to come all the way to Indian Ocean region and protect their assets over here. By ships, by the time they come all the way through the states of Bharat, go around Sri Lanka and reach the coast of Somalia, they are already tired. Which is why they are looking at Djibouti, which is why they are looking at additional stations in Godar, etc. So whereas India, not just the Navy, but the combined might of the Navy and the Air Force. We saw what the Air Force did. So the Navy and Air Force are working together. There's a phenomenal amount of synergy in trying to execute our plans, not just through the Tri-Services Command, but also through our might. Every single submarine, every single ship that has entered the Indian Ocean region, including the nuclear submarine and commercial submarine, have been traced and tracked continually by aircraft which are operating. You should be proud to hear from INS Rajali, which is in Arakonam. I happen to be the first commanding officer that place. So I know how much of efforts are gone to procuring these assets today. And every day we find that Chinese are very worried about 3 things as far as the Indian Navy is concerned. One is Andaman Nicobar, which I told you, where you can redeploy at any short notice. All our strategic airlift aircraft have been tried out in Nicobar, and strike capability. And the maritime component of strike, which the Air Force has, regularly exercises the Indian Navy, and they've been able to carry out. Earlier it was the Jaguar, but today they have many other aircraft which can be deployed. And Rafale would have added phenomenal work to what we can do in the ocean, well into the Western Pacific. And we have friendly people around, and Singapore has offered its business. Yes. In fact, thanks for reminding me, the anti-piracy patrols that are carried on as far as the Somalian thing is concerned. We have rescued Chinese ships. The Indian Navy has rescued Chinese ships which are under piracy attacks. And there were 17 navies at one time which are carrying out piracy patrols. and Indian Navy has taken a lead role. We are not part of any conference as such, but we also have established what the Chinese did in the process of coming there in the guise of anti-piracy. Remember, they were one of the only the second nation that said we are using submarines for anti-piracy patrol, which is not acceptable at all in the sense that nobody deploys a submarine which has low speed on surface. Nobody is going to use torpedoes against small dhows. But they deployed the submarine. But we must understand why they did that. This was to understand the environment along the entire Western and North Arabian Sea, to understand the telemetrics, so that the data can be fed into the computers. Tomorrow, if they detect any vessel here, they are able to identify and say, this is an Indian submarine or a Pakistani submarine, or whatever. So, thanks for reminding me, sir, and giving me this opportunity to clarify that don't look at numbers, look at the quality and the kind of advantages that geography has conferred on India, being central to the Indian Ocean region. So we are in safe hands as far as the Indian Navy is concerned, and don't worry about China too much. Thank you.
Thank you, dignitaries.
I've got two questions. One is to Dr. Williams. This is in the context of your saying that Prime Minister Modi will of course be doing his homework in the expectation of questions that will arise in the context of Ladakh. So similarly, what kind of homework you think will be approaching this informal summit as a sort of an excursion, because going by what you said, that they have 5 times our economy and 8 times our military strength, it doesn't appear to be a meeting of equals. So in that sense, what is it that we can bring to the table which can make them feel uncomfortable and so therefore come somewhat prepared to a meeting? That is one thing. And the second question, I'd like the others to take an answer is, what are the lessons that we learn from the months after our last Wuhan summit, so that we will know what to expect and with what kind of seriousness both parties will approach the outcome of whatever is to happen in Mamallapuram. Thank you.
I think if Ladakh has been raised by President Shri, the automatic riposte would be Tibet. Because I think that is something the Chinese have gamed it. They have this game called Weishe, which they've been playing around. The game of Weishe is a kind of a modified Chinese chess, actually. And therefore, if you raise Ladakh, it will be Tibet. And the Chinese will put the next Weishe, which will be southern Tibet, which is Arunachal. And then again, we go back to their, the whole issue of Xinjiang. So therefore, there is what is called the interlocuting games, strategic games, which will be played between the two leaders there. I think one suggestion basically is, I'm trying to propose it, we do it in the armed forces, is to have a scenario simulation exercise, which can involve some of us, and we have done that in Army War College, Naval War College, so as to how leaders can be gained into thinking. The US National Defense University is very famous of doing this actually. So this is something that as an aspirational power in India, we'll have to do this in the future. So that when our leaders go into summits, they get what is called as informed intelligence that goes into the thing. A US president can speak whatever he wants. We think that Trump basically speaks absurdity there. But behind him is a very solid team that works into this gaming models actually. And India needs to go into two things in the learning curve. One is to have this India National Defense University established on a very firm curve. And secondly, to have these gaming scenarios. Not that I'm an academic and trying to propose a model, but this is how we work even in a small country like Singapore, where I've been a part of the Singapore Navy there. So we do these gaming models so that we tend to know what the enemy knows into it. And the best part of it is you should not read your newspapers. You should read the Global Times more than anything. So know your enemy, and you shall win 1,000 battles. That is what soldiers say.
Actually, as Dr. Prabhakar mentioned, we already have IDS has conducted something like 4 net assessments so far, and we are now in the process of conducting the fifth net assessment post 2013-2014. So this is a normal exercise that we do. As far as the gains of Wuhan is concerned, we have learned many lessons. Like the Chinese establishment has learned some lessons, we have also learned some lessons after post-Wuhan. But the most important thing that has emerged after Wuhan is the fallacy of invincibility of China. We should not forget that Wuhan was not a war, it was not a clash. It was some sort of a power game that was played by the PLA on Xi Jinping. So when Xi Jinping wanted to extend a hand of friendship towards India, and he wanted India and China to cooperate on the global arena to his advantage, to the advantage of China, there were certain elements in the PLA which did not like it. Remember, there were more than 800 PLA officers have been either suspended or removed from the army under various pretexts, including corruption. So this is how the PLA strikes back. China does not have political opposition parties. So opposition is inbuilt in the structure that they have. It is not a political structure alone. It's a party structure, political structure, social structure, economic structure, army structure. So there are all inbuilt structures that operate and rebalance and balance themselves as far as the power structure is concerned. So when we see China as a monolithic power, we should always remember that these are all the power structures that hold this country together. So there are always internal correlations and conflicts between these structures at very different times. So it was one such time, and that is the reason why the political hat of Xi Jinping had to tell the army hat of Xi Jinping that look, I am superior to you. And that is the reason why he chose Wuhan to demonstrate to India and to the world that the politician Xi Jinping will win, not the PLA chief Xi Jinping who will win. So these are all the symbolisms that we have learned. And another thing that has happened in the last 1 year, or say 1.5 years you can say, ever since the so-called trade war began. I'm yet to call it a trade war. So, but for easy understanding we call it trade war. Is again the economic supremacy of China. So there is an element of imbalance as far as India-China economy is concerned, but as far as China-US economy is concerned, that imbalance will have to be corrected. What will be the outcome of it, we can still work out. But what is important is to realize the fact that again, like the military invincibility, the economic invincibility of China's fallacy has also been exposed. So these are all the factors that both Beijing and New Delhi will be working on. And it is not just Beijing and New Delhi which will be working. We should also not forget the fact that many capitals in the world are eagerly looking at what is going to happen in Mahabalipuram. So the outcome of Mahabalipuram will also pave the way for future strategies that we have to work out. As far as Ladakh is concerned, it has a very important message, not only for China, but also for the US. US is in a hurry to withdraw from Afghanistan. And they want to withdraw from Afghanistan after handing over power to Taliban, which they defeated in 2001. So whether US withdrawal from Afghanistan will be good for the region or bad for the region is a matter of assessment. But earlier there was a mention of string of pearls. String of pearls is often read as a challenge for India. India is being surrounded by a string of pearls, that is what we generally say. There is a truth in it, no doubt about it. But we have to also make a realistic assessment of this truth. When you look at all these string of pearls and the choke points in the Indian Ocean, let us also remember that which of these choke point was held by India? Which of this point of pearl or the string of pearls was under the control of Indian Navy or Indian hegemony? None of them. They were all under US control. The choke points were also under the US control. So when China has taken over these choke points and string of pearls, what they have done is not displaced India but displaced US. So the strategic space that has been vacated by US has been occupied by China. And this occupation is not a permanent occupation. So in international geopolitics, there is always an element of dynamics. So we can also occupy some of this, and we have already invested heavily in Seshadri. We are investing very heavily in Djibouti, as the commander would know more about all these things. So we are also doing these investments. So this is another lesson that the world is learning. And the third and the most important element that we should remember is China is not worried about creating of a union territory in Kashmir, two union territories, Jammu and Kashmir and Ladakh. What is more important is that we are not part of China-Pakistan economic corridor, and what we have said is that economic corridor passes through an area which is Indian, which is illegally occupied by Pakistan and illegally part of which is ceded to China. Our objection is to that. Our objection is to China using illegally occupied Indian territory for its own strategic and economic purpose. Why China requires POK is because POK is the entry point for China as far as its exit point in Indian Ocean is concerned. So Gwadar is an important port for China. If they don't have Gwadar, they will not be able to do business with Africa. Chinese incursions into Africa have increased manifold, and they need Africa for the resources. If you want to be an economic strong power, you need good economy and you need resources. That is what has been happening in the last 300 years, right from the colonial period to the phase of bilateral periods. So China knows the value of Africa, and to do trade with Africa, India has been doing trade with Africa for millions of years. So to do trade with Africa, they cannot depend on the land route, they will have to depend on the sea route. And then whoever controls the sea controls the future of the world. And that is where China wants to control the sea. And this is the reason why they want an entry point, an exit point into Indian Ocean and an entry point into the Indian Ocean. The only entry point that they could easily get was this. Otherwise they tried Myanmar and from there to Sittwe to Taiwan, but it did not work. So now this is the route they are trying. And this is what strategically we would be playing our own cards from the point of view that we are not against China dealing with Africa, but we will not allow China to use a territory which legally belongs to us, but illegally being occupied and ceded to China. And they know it very well. So ultimately China will have to agree to a very major decision that we will have to take in the days to come, in the years to come. It could be days, it could be months, or it could be years. So this strategic approach which we are working out is what China is also calculating. So it is from that point of view that they may be talking about Ladakh, but we are not worried. We are free to work out our own strategies, which we need not be enumerated now, but as days goes past on, we will come to know more about it.
we run a huge trade deficit with China. That's a fact. And that's primarily the two reasons. One is we export low value items, scarce resources, raw material resources, semi-manufactured articles, and we import high value items. Anything. On the one side, if you see the anti-dumping notifications, maximum anti-dumping notifications imposed by India is only on the Chinese goods. This is number one. In spite of that, we are unable to control the Chinese imports. Government is taking a lot of measures directly. Directly is this anti-dumping business. Indirectly, all the public sector units have been advised not to buy from China. What extent will have impact, we don't know. This is on the one side. On the other side, we are trying to make inroads into China. Particularly the Chinese require more things from us, but they talk one thing, but in reality they do something else. For example, this pharmaceutical business. They said, yes, we need your medicines, but when we actually go into it, they raise the standards. They say it is Chinese standards. You know, they have this funny concept of Chinese 5-star. And every hotel is called as 5-star in China. They say it's a Chinese 5-star hotels. And that is their way of doing business that we have to accept. Now, given this scenario, we have to address the trade deficit. What do you think? What are all the cases that we have? What are the costs that we have from the Indian side? Just as Trump has imposed certain tariff hike, they also imposed tariff hike. So that cancels each other almost. So they have to necessarily buy from China, but they will not buy from India, but they will not. What do you think we'll have the cases from our side to throw in this game? Thank you.
There are many aspects. It's a fact that there is an asymmetry as far as trade is concerned. And that asymmetry is even more pronounced than the military asymmetry. Because in the modern world, it is the economic power that is going to determine the so-called superpower status. It's not the colony, it's not everything, it's fine, I agree. But if you look at other aspects also, when we say trade deficit, we are also forgetting the fact that the trade deficit calculations are on the basis of dollar parity and not on the basis of domestic currency parity. And we have ASEAN-India trade is now improving, it's about $41 billion. Of course, ASEAN-China trade is about $82 billion. But if you look at the starting points of China and starting point of India, it's a major and large difference. So Chinese economy basically runs on the most important structure of unified policy making zone, whereas Indian economy cannot have that kind of a facility, being a democracy and being so many other factors which you as a businessman would know. And the strength of this structure which China now has is also the problem for them. If you see the BRI, when it was OBOR was announced and then later on converted into BRI, there were about 61 countries which participated. Now it has come down to 54 countries. And then out of all the projects that they had declared at that time, more than $540 billion projects which were declared, only 40% of these projects have now been announced as real projects. The 60% projects are all gone, out of which 18 countries have now gone back on BRI projects which they had originally signed 5 years back. Some of the banks in China also has banks, but they are all controlled by the government, but still they have some sort of autonomy as far as the banking system is concerned. They have already raised the red flag that we will have to scale down the BRI. So now China is seriously considering what are those BRI projects which they can scale down, which is not going to be of any strategic importance to them. Incidentally, there are some BRI projects which they are now willing to take away from BRI so that they get world investment into those projects, including the China-Pakistan Economic Corridor, which China had offered to India, saying that we will not call it a DRI project, let us make it a trilateral project, which again we rejected, very rightly we rejected for strategic reasons. So that's only one of the examples. Another thing that has happened is India is now branching out on a different economic model as far as Southeast Asia is concerned. And we all know about the Look East policy, which was started with Narasimha Rao. And then it continued, and now it has been added as Look East and Act East policy. So under this Act East policy, can we think in terms, if you remember, we had what we call the famous rupee-ruble trade. So can we have domestic currency trade? Can rupee become the anchor currency for us? If rupee becomes the anchor currency, and then in that case, the entire trade balance will tilt in our favor instead of being in China's favor. So these are some of the decisions that we may have to take as far as the economy is concerned. But it is important to note that we have to pull up our own socks somewhere or the other. We have to dismantle so many regimes, that economic regimes that we have, which we are now doing currently. More than 3,000 old rules and regulations and laws have been already thrown out of the window. Much more has to go. And Make in India program has to improve. Ease of business is not as it should be. It should also improve. The business community also will have to participate in all this decision-making process. But this is happening. But what is important is to think out of the box on certain issues like anchor currency and creating Indian rupee parity, which was there long back, which we can recreate now. So these are some of the issues that we are now working on.
The petty shrewdness attend to the trivial matters, but people with vision attend to the governance of the institution. I recall a small Tamil saying, "Katrathu kaiyalavu, kallaradu udaladu." Today's session is a standing example of that. Honorable and most respected Mr. Seshadri Chari, Seshadri Vasan, Sir Lawrence Prabhakar Williams, President of Chennai Citizens Forum, the Honorable Consulate of various countries present here, members of the Chennai Citizens Forum, and our most valued invited guests from various fields. It's my great privilege to propose a formal vote of thanks on this occasion. I, on behalf of Chennai Citizens Forum, extend a very heartfelt gratitude to all the speakers for gracing the occasion with your presence and sharing us your thoughts today. I must mention our profound thanks to Mr. Seshadri Vasan for sharing with us and highlighting the opportunities from the forthcoming the Indo-China relation on tourism, Indo-Pacific investment opportunities. And I like this one comment on the limitation on the particular commenting which a country should restrict to. As far as Mr. Lawrence's speech is concerned, I could put forth into a small triple B theory. Blue ocean, brown infrastructure, and black for counterfeiting terrorism, which will probably result in what is called the white, the peace. Special thanks to Mr. Seshadri Chari. He has architected this entire session, in fact, to say, right from the beginning, we have been in constant touch with him. In fact, he suggested Vasan 2.0 as a theme, then to bring a small localization to this part of the rotation, we made it as Vasan to Mahabalipuram. Thanks to all of our guest invitees, including honorable consulates who have come from different destinations. I wish to thank the President, Secretary, patrons, the session chairman, and all the members of the meticulously planning. An event of this dimension cannot happen overnight.